Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Horror 421, the podcast, with your host, your friendly small-town horror author, Charles Campbell. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the frights in this week's episode.
What's that noise? What's that sound? Oh, I hear a witch on the horizon. I hear a witch coming. I wonder who it could be. Oh my goodness. I know this guy, and he's written a new book, and it has everything to do with a witch. Hello, everyone. My name is Charles Campbell, and this is a special episode of Horror 421, the podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about me a little bit. I have a brand new book coming out very, very soon. The pre-orders are up right now, and the book is called The Piano Witch. And it is what you see. You see the reflection of the piano in the wood, and you see a little girl playing beside the witch. Well, that's in the book. So the book centers around. Well, let me give you a little background on the book first. I do host another podcast, and it's called Backstage 421, the Musicians Only podcast. And the very first guest I had was a singer named Brooke Singer. She's in a New Zealand band called French for Rabbits, and they're an excellent band. Go check them out. Go check out episode 1 of Backstage 421, the podcast, if you'd like to know more about French for Rabbits. But in my discussion with Brooke, she told me a very interesting story. So when she was a child, she used to take piano lessons, and she was kind of afraid to sit in front of the piano because in the very wood of the piano, she could make out the image of a witch's face, and it always frightened her. And I thought that was so intriguing, right? When I'm talking to her and I say, hey, and you can see me say this on the podcast, can I use that? And she said yes. And so from that, the wheels got spinning. And so I wrote a story about a witch trapped in the wood of a piano. And she's basically trapped in another realm. And there's a little girl. Her name is Brooke Holden in the book. Shout out to Brooke Singer. I used your name there. So you can get a little inside credit on the book. She does have an original concept credit, by the way. But the little girl's name is Brooke Holden, and she begged her mother, Janet, for piano lessons. And Janet obliged and took Brooke to her first lesson. And in that first lesson, as soon as she placed her hands upon the keys of the piano, she was introduced to the piano witch. So the lessons that Brooke took or were taking were by an older lady, or her name was Norma Brantley. And Norma, full disclosure, and you're going to find it as soon as you start the book, but she knows what the deal is with the piano. So it's kind of her, her deal where she leads Brooke into the world of the piano witch. And from there, some crazy things start happening. Norma is trying to lift the curse of the piano witch. She's trying to get her out of that realm that she's trapped in. And it's no, easy task. And there's a lot of things that are happening that need to happen for that to be accomplished. And I don't want to give away too much of the story here, but it's kind of and I kind of, ventured away from this as I wrote the book, but it started off as kind of a short story novel hybrid. And then it kind of just, evolved into a novel, basically, because everything ties together. The chapters reference each other. So where it started off as a short story collection, kind of tying in the Piano Witch with each story, the way my brain took me was more the novel route. So it's an all-encompassing story. So Brooke is influenced by the Piano Witch, and they have to bring more people into the fold to accomplish the task that they have in front of them of getting the curse lifted and bringing the witch back to our realm. So all kinds of crazy stuff happens, and whether she makes it back or not, I'm not going to say. I'll let you read that within the pages of the Piano Witch. But this is the cover, and it was painted by a local to me artist. His name is John Stoney Cannon. And with pre-orders of the book, John is going to sign a few of those copies as well. So you'll get the signature of the artist that designed the cover, basically, along with mine. So if you pre-order the book, you'll have John's signature in there to accompany mine. I think John did a fantastic job. I've ordered proof copies of this book. The pre-order deadline is actually September 15th. So if you haven't pre-ordered, you still have some time. But after September 15th, the pre-orders will be removed from the website, and it will be available on the order screen. The deal with the pre-orders is you're going to get some cool extras, which I'm going to show you, and I've kind of revealed one of them. But it's a few cool extras, and I typically do that with pre-orders. I throw a few cool things that are related to the book in with the shipment. So my longtime readers, my loyal readers, they know the deal, and they're always, first in line to get a pre-order in. But I can't say enough about this cover. You can go to Charles Campbell Author, or you can go to Charles Campbell on my Facebook page, or you can look up Charles Campbell Author on Instagram. I have a full image of the front and back cover, basically an image of the book cover that you can take a look at. It is also available for pre-order on Kindle, so if you'd rather have your books digitally, you can do that. And I think I'm going to record this as an audiobook very soon. I have one other book available right now for audio. That is Terror Tour. That was my last release earlier this year, so you can pick that up on audio. But Terror Tour and the Piano Witch will be the only two I have available on audiobook so far. I will be correcting that over the course of time. But the first audiobook that I published, I read myself. I'm probably going to do that with the Piano Witch also. But after that, I'll probably get professionals to read my work. So you don't have to hear this southern twang in all the books. But anyway, I can't say enough about this cover. If you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, you can check it out. If you're listening to it via podcast app, it is an awesome cover, so go check it out wherever you can see it. But it has an image of the Piano Witch staring back at Brooke and the Piano Witch as they play the keys side by side. It's like a reflection of her. And it is such an intricate and simple cover at the same time. It does convey a lot of what I tell in the stories. And this was the first revision that John sent me, and I said, you don't have to go any further. You captured exactly what I was looking for. So if you need any commission work, or if you're an author looking for a cool, kick-ass book cover, you can reach out to John Stoney Cannon. You can find him on Facebook and Instagram as well. But he does amazing work. Now, I've talked about the Piano Witch just a little bit, but I want to get to some of the extras that you're going to get with your purchase. And they're cool extras, and they're really suited for Halloween, right? So one of the first things you're going to get is you're going to get this cool little awesome bookmark. And I have several different varieties, so it may not be a pumpkin, it may be a ghost or a vampire or, a werewolf, but you're going to get a cool bookmark that also doubles as a ruler. So you've got a little ruler in there along with the bookmark, so you can mark your Piano Witch book. Super fun for Halloween. You're getting this with your pre-order. If you don't pre-order it, you're not going to get this. So if you wait to order it off the regular tab, these will not be included. Second thing you're going to get in there are a couple of writing instruments. One is a pen, one is a pencil. And the pen is also super cool, Halloween themed. You're going to get a witch pen, or, well, the others are put away, but there's a couple of varieties of pens as well. There's a witch pen, a ghost pen, a vampire pen, but they are Halloween themed pens. Look at how cute that witch is. The piano witch isn't that cute. But you're going to get one of these cool bad boys, and you'll get it in time for Halloween. So you can, I may even sign my name to books with these cool pens. But you'll get an awesome witch pen, and maybe she's the little sister of the piano witch, right? And what would a witch be without her broom? So I've got this other cool writing instrument. It is a pencil, but it doubles as a witch's broom. So you can sharpen this pencil, you can use it, you can take it to school, but it is so fun and cool looking. It is a witch's broom. So you're going to get a ruler, a witch pen, a broom pen, and the last thing you're going to get in the pre-order set is the piano witch herself. And I kind of revealed her a little bit already at the beginning of the podcast, but there she is. And let's see if we can get her to talk again. So that's a fun little knick-knack that you can have sitting around at Halloween. I'll have it sitting on my desk year-round. And of course, you can turn this off, but it is motion activated. So if you get near it, she'll start cackling away. But you're going to get her with your pre-order as well. So fun little knickknacks to go with your pre-order. Again, you can go to valleyboypublications.com today. I would recommend getting your pre-order in as soon as possible, because after September 15th, 2023, I will not be taking pre-orders. They will go to the regular order tab. The books should be here by mid-October at the latest. So as soon as I get them, I will sign them. I will have John Stoney Cannon sign as many of the pre-order books as he's available to. And then we'll go from there. But I'm super excited about this book release. I am stoked about its origin, how it came to be. You know, you never know where a story's going to come from, right? A simple conversation with a guest on my music podcast. It wasn't even my horror podcast. And she tells me that cool little story, and the piano witch was born. Isn't that crazy? Another cool thing about the piano witch, and I would be remiss if I didn't bring it up, is one of my really good friends and supporters. He is a movie director. He's a good friend of mine. He writes himself. He directs films. He produces television. He does all kinds of stuff. You can find, he does a weekly spooky podcast as well, which features authors from all over the country and their short stories. So you can find Weekly Spooky at weeklyspooky.com, where you can find the episodes narrated by Henrik Couto, or Enrique, however you want to pronounce it. He goes by both, so it's Henrik or Enrique Couto. But he has written the foreword for The Piano Witch. And as a super bonus, he's going to read the first story out of The Piano Witch on an episode of Weekly Spooky in October, just to give it a little extra push and a little extra buzz for the people who may be on the fence about purchasing it. But he's only going to read one. He's not going to read the whole book. He's going to read one story, and then you guys can decide whether you want to jump on the train or not. But Henrik has been a great supporter of mine. You can find a lot of his stuff, his movies and merchandise, and man, the guy's just got all kinds of things going on. But you can find all of his stuff at henflix.com. That's henflix.com. You'll be surprised at how many movies this guy's directed, and He had an Amazon Prime television series at one point called Boggy Creek the series, a campy series about Bigfoot, where Bigfoot was kind of the hero in the whole thing. But you need to go check that out. But my gratitude towards Henrik is almost without bounds because he does help support a lot of the independent authors and fellow creators. So shout out to Henrik. I do appreciate all that you've done. I appreciate the nicely written forward. You guys should definitely check it out. But anyway, I'm basically here on this episode of Horror 421, the podcast, is just promote the Piano Witch, tell you where you can find it, valleyboypublications.com. You can click on the pre-order tab and get your copy secured to get the extras. If you wait till after September 15th, it's not the end of the world. You just won't get all the little extra goodies, but you'll still get a great story. And I think this time of year, it's going to come out right around Halloween. It's definitely a vibe that you're gonna get into once you start reading it. It's set in the fall, and all kinds of stuff happens. And for my longtime readers, uh, there are going to be some throwbacks to other books I've written, and I'm not going to go into spoilers or anything like that. But I think some of my longtime readers will be pleasantly surprised, or maybe not so pleasantly surprised. It depends on how you look at it. But yeah, I've got a pretty cool callback to a couple of the books that I've written. So I can't wait to see how people react to that who've read my other books. Now, I will say that you don't have to, it's not a requirement that you have read my other books to enjoy the story. So it's nothing like that. But yeah, it's a cool little throwback that I think you'll like if you've read my other stuff. But yeah, that's what I wanted to jump on here and talk about just a little bit. So, the Piano Witch. Shout out to Brooke Singer, the original concept. Um, Shout out to Henrik Enrique Couto for the forward. Shout out to John Stoney Cannon for the incredible cover. And as always, I appreciate my longtime readers and my new readers as well. I will be appearing at the Sassafras Festival in the Valley for the folks that are familiar. That's the first Saturday in October. So I will be there signing books and selling merchandise. Not sure if I'll have copies of the Piano Witch with me at that signing. There's a possibility that I will. Just depends on how quickly the printer can get me the 2 proof copies that have been ordered, and then I can place the large order. So if I can make all that happen in the next few weeks, then I'll have copies. If not, I have plenty of other books you can choose from. So I'll be at the Sassafras Festival the first Saturday of October, whatever that happens to be. I'm also doing something at Langley Pond in December, and I'll be at Boondock Farms. I think I'll be there. I need to check the date on that, but I think I'll be there maybe in October as well. But anyway, I'll go check dates on that kind of stuff, and I'll keep you updated. But I'll be making a couple of appearances here and there. I'll be at Days of the Dead in Atlanta in January. So any people watching that are from the Atlanta area, you can come see me at my vendor table. I will be there. I will definitely have copies of the Piano Witch with me there. If you're listening to me for the first time and are unfamiliar with my books, you can go to valleyboypublications.com and look on the order tab, and you can see, pretty much every book that I've released. I also released a podcast earlier this season, an episode where I centered on all the current books that I have out. So I went into detail of each book that I've written to this point. So if you want an in-depth description of all the books I've written, go look up that episode of Horror 421, the podcast. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all I needed to talk about today. This is a very short episode. but it's an episode that I felt I needed to put out there. So you can find me at valleyboypublications.com. I do have a Horror 421 the podcast Facebook page, so please go like that. I do have a Backstage 421 the Musicians Only podcast Facebook page. I also host Backstage 421 the Musicians Only podcast, so please go listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts for that and Horror 421 the podcast. It is greatly appreciated. You can also find me on Instagram under Charles Campbell Author. I don't have it broken out. It's everything that I do is under Charles Campbell Author on Instagram, so you can find me there. And that's about it. So you guys have a great rest of your weekend. I'm going to release this episode immediately. So it'll come out today, which is September 9th. So you guys can listen to it and hopefully go take advantage of the pre-order for the Piano Witch. And, there's just something, I don't know. Oh, man. I don't know, man. Do I hear her again? Oh, my goodness. What is going on? What is going on with the Piano Witch? Go order your copy today. Thank you for listening.
We hope you had a horrific time, lovelies. Thank you for tuning in to Horror 421, the podcast. Be sure to like us on YouTube and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.